Happy first day of spring! You guys have been asking and asking and asking, when is it time to wake up my peppers that I overwintered? Well, maybe now. A really popular video last fall was how to overwinter chilies and peppers because they are in fact perennials, albeit tender perennials. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it down below so you can take a look whenever you get a chance so you know in the fall what to do. Now, if you did see that video and you actually did it, let me know down in the comments. I would love to see how it went. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, let us know that as well. Now, for those of you who did watch and have been anxiously watching your peppers all winter long, let's go through step by step what to do and when. So this is where my peppers have been all winter, right here against the house. This is a south-facing wall, so they get morning sun. The sun collects some of the heat throughout the day and then disperses it throughout the rest of a cool day. But we don't get frost here hardly ever, and we never get freezing temperatures. So these do totally fine outside. So depending on if yours were inside, outside, if you had grow lights, if you didn't have grow lights, they could look kind of different from these. They might look more like this one here that's just stems. They might have completely messed up, nasty leaves like this one. They might even have some immature fruits, and they might have some flowers. So the first thing you have to do is find out if your plants are still viable. If you still see green stems, there's life. If you don't see any green stems and it's all the way brown down to the soil, then you want to kind of rock the root ball a little bit. And if it's still intact, there's a good chance it might grow from the base. If you grow perennials of any kind, you know in the winter they die back completely and they can grow from the base. So it is a possibility, less of a chance than if you have green stems, but don't give up on it. This one back here is our little sweetie drop pepper. It's still got some fruits that are a little bit withered, but you can see that there are some brown stems. So I just want to cut those off. If you have any brown stems, remove all of them. And then also, if you have any diseased leaves, like these, that don't look good at all, take them right back to the main stem. You probably could just pluck them off. Any stems that are diseased, leaves that are diseased, anything, you want to remove them to give the plant its best chance at getting a good start and really starting to produce peppers way earlier than if you would have planted seeds right now. Another thing you want to look for are flowers. This one has a flower. As much as you hate to do it, take off all the flowers. You don't want them putting energy into fruit production. They need to be establishing their roots quickly and putting on leaves so they can start developing food through photosynthesis. Same with any immature fruits. Pluck them off. You can still eat these. I can't because I hate green bell peppers, but you can. Now, is it time to put them outside? As long as your nighttime temperatures are consistently 50 degrees Fahrenheit and above, you're good to go. If they're still below, you can still do everything we just did. If you've got maybe just a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks left, you can still clean them up, get them ready. And then once you have those temperatures that you need outside at night, we can go ahead and move them outside. Now, if they've been growing indoors, we need to acclimate them again to being outside. So kind of like we do with the seedlings, with hardening them off. You don't have to be as delicate as with seedlings, but they do need a good couple of days in and out. So out in the sun for maybe an hour or two, back in. The next day out in the sun for 3 or 4 hours, then back in. And then by the third day, they should be totally fine. So over a weekend would be great. You just don't want to take them from one extreme to the next. If you've learned something so far, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps push it out to a wider audience and really helps the channel. If you're going to be growing your plant in the same container that you overwintered it in, like this one here, then you still want to add some granular slow release fertilizer. So what you want to do, I'm going to be using the Neptune's Harvest kelp meal and the Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster formula. Dig down about 3 or 4 inches, kind of maybe 3 different spots in the pot. Toss a handful in, work it a little deeper, cover it back up. That's going to get that down where the roots can access it real quick. So after that, I'm going to be feeding it with some liquid organic fertilizer. I'll probably be using the Neptune's Harvest fish and seaweed formula. It's a nice gentle formula to get them off to a good start. Of course, all the Neptune's Harvest products are discounted for our viewers. If you go to my website, nextlevelgardening.tv, and go to Products I Love, you'll find the link there that gives you an automatic discount at the website. Now let's go over to the raised beds and I'll show you what to do if you're actually going to be planting them, taking them out of the pot you grew them in and putting them in the ground or in a raised bed. So I've got 3 bell peppers in this one pot and I'm going to plant them in 3 different locations in this raised bed. So first thing I need to do is get the location ready. I'm going to move away some of the straw mulch, just a little bigger than the size of the root ball. Just going to loosen it up. The roots won't have grown very much during the, if at all, during the winter. So the root ball comes out pretty easily. And I'm just going to, hang on a minute. Just gonna dig a hole the same size as the root ball so that when I plant it, the top of the root ball is level with the top of the soil that I'm planting in. I'm gonna sprinkle some kelp meal and some crab and lobster, mix it in there to the bottom of the hole, and then plant it level with the soil. Firm it in, and I can just replace the straw mulch. Leave just a little bit of the mulch away from, don't have it touching the trunk of each plant because that can cause some moisture issues and breed disease. Once you're done, like I said, either planting in a pot, keeping it in the same pot, or putting it in the ground or a raised bed, I'm going to put some of the fish and seaweed fertilizer, or you can use any organic liquid fertilizer. It's about 1 ounce of this per gallon of water. And then just water them in well. Wouldn't hurt to get some on the stems, and especially if there's leaves, to get a little foliar feeding going on. Now remember, if you followed the directions in the video in the fall, you would have kept them pretty dry throughout the winter. Well, now is the time for the opposite. You got to keep them moist because that is what's going to start to produce the leaves, flowers, and finally the peppers that we're all waiting for. It's really that easy, definitely easier than babying them all winter long. If you learned something from this video, thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend.